I'm going to have a look inside the clutch here, because it was dragging the other day when I was out. Only slightly, in as much as I couldn't find neutral. I think I know what the issue is, but we're going to take it apart. We'll have a look at it and just give it a clean. I don't know the last time it was serviced. This bike is relatively new to me. Ducati dry clutches are really, really simple to work on. Nothing to be afraid of at all. There are 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, that hold this cover on here. These bolts here and here are actually longer. They go through into the crankcase itself, and this just slides out straight over the top of them. So I'm going to take off 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, and then this will come out. Now, fortunately, I can remove this bolt up here, which I have done already. It's there. And that allows me to pull this piece of the fairing out here to get this bolt out, because this, as you'll see in a moment, is a long bolt. This is an ST4S, and those of you that have ST bikes will know that it's a pain in the arse to get the fairing off them, because you have to take off the wing mirrors, then you can take the nose cone off, and then you can get this bit off here, all for the sake of this one bolt here. So with a little bit of applied pressure, we should be able to get it out. Okay, that's that off. Now this should just pull off here, and we may need to apply a little bit of pressure to it. Let me get a screwdriver. Right, we're back now. Bit of brute force, and we've begun to get it to come away. There we go. Now, they're not normally that tight. Normally they drop straight off, but this one has, I'm guessing, judging by the rubber cover that's in there, someone has put a new cover in there at some stage. The cover itself has got stuck to the rubber seal has got stuck to the clutch cover, and let's just pull that off as well. There we go. Okay, so one clutch cover, all right, has a rubber seal on it here. This one has somehow got stuck to, I'm just going to take that away. I don't want to break the rubber seal. There we go. Now, either someone has applied some sealant to that in the past, or it's just stuck itself with heat there. When you come to put this back, we'll show you which way around it goes, but it's quite okay. We've got here, this plate is not original. Well, it is original because it's got Ducati written there, but it's not the original colour. Someone has sprayed this gold, including the bearing release plate there. They've also sprayed all these bits gold. Nothing wrong with that at all. Each to their own, I suppose. I can see straight away, doing it this way, but I can see that gap there. So that gap there, so it probably explains why it's a bit quite rattly. Typical Ducati dry clutch rattle. Anyway, let's whip this off and have a look at the condition of those plates. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 springs in here, held on by a retaining collar and an Allen bolt in the middle there. Again, whoops, those are 4mm ones. Okay, they're only done up hand tight. You heard that ping as the spring pressure came off. There, let's try and do it methodically so we don't warp the plate, unlikely, but just good practice. We'll go around opposite sides rather than going around one at a time. I'm guessing that someone painted this gold at one stage because there's your spring. Okay, and on the top of there it's stuck on there, but you have a collar, one little Allen bolt, a collar. The collar goes in there, that goes in there. Okay, so that's those 6 springs out there. This pressure plate can now come off here. We will see here if I come in a bit closer. Whoops, excuse that. I'm trying to edit that bit out. Just there. Can you see that one there has got a mark on it, a notch across the top? You can also see there's just that there. Okay, it's very important when we put this pressure plate back on that lines up with that. That does not line up with that, but it lines up with one of the other 5. Chances are your clutch is not going to function normally when you put it back together. Nothing to learn. Okay, and this just lifts off here. Okay, there we go. This just pulls straight out. And it's pulling with it the push rod. Now the push rod turns freely within, the push rod sits in a little top hat bearing there, and that spins freely. What you don't want is you don't want that seized and your push rod turning, because if your push rod turns with this bit, it's going to, this end is going to wear out your clutch slave cylinder on the other side. Okay, there are O-rings on here, one there, and this belongs in that bit just there. It goes in there to stop the any oil coming through. These 2 oil seals here sit on the other side. There's an oil galley runs in the middle of that, just there, inside the engine, inside the crankcases. And that's pretty good nick actually, that push rod. If you ever need to get this push rod out of here, when you take this pressure plate off, some might come off with the push rod, some might come off and leave the push rod in there. It doesn't matter either way. Best way to get this out, if you need to, is to get a workbench, drill a hole in the workbench, drop that down through the hole there, make sure the hole is bigger than that, and you can just tap on that little bit there and that will push it out. But we don't need to do that today, so we're not going to do that today. What I do need is okay, now the clutch itself, right, is comprised of a number of plates that are inside there, and we need to take them out. Okay, going to take them out, give them a good clean. You can see this is thick with dust, probably because this is a closed one. Some people, I've got some of my other bikes, have open ones. It lets the dust dissipate. I'll probably swap this for an open one because I've got a spare open one actually. But we're going to give those a bit of a clean up. That might be part of the reason why there was a slight drag when the engine was getting hot, as these things expand and if there's a whole load of crap and dust in there, which is to be expected, which hasn't gone out. Now, when you take them off, to make your life easier in the future, when you come to put them back in again, keep them all in the same order. Okay, so this one goes out, I'm going to place that face down there. Friction plate, this is a friction plate, I'm going to place that exactly the same order on top of that. Okay, next metal plate comes out, and so on. We work our way down through the stack, bringing these out like this. Okay, it gets trickier as we go down through the stack. So I have some very expensive tools that I got from Ducati here, which basically were paper clips, big paper clips. Now you can also, I put a little bend in the end there, if you can see that, and a little hook in the end here, so I can hold on to it. And what I do, 2 of them, I can pop that down the side there and just hook around the plate and bring it out. And I continue doing this all the way through. Okay, get behind each friction plate and it comes out with the metal plate, the drive plate as well. Okay, friction plates have the tangs on them. The tangs fit down in those slots there. And we'll carry on doing this to get them all out. I don't have them, but if you had a little couple of magnets, you could put the magnets in there. So if you had like something like this with a magnet on the end, you could put it in there, 2 of them, and just pull it out like that. Okay, just going to pause it there for a moment while I get the rest of these out because it's boring to watch. Okay, so we've got all the plates out there, and here you can see the interior of the of there. Here's your clutch drum. Okay, this is your clutch basket. Now this one you can see is in pretty good nick actually. There's no notching on the side here at all, although I've noticed there was a big gap between the edge of the tang that fits in there. There's no notching on the side there of that. It's a bit mucky in there, but that's to be expected. There's a fucking shit here, see? Whoops. That we can clean out of there. Best way to clean that out, and I'm not going to do it in here because it's going to blow it everywhere, is just compressed air. If you get a compressor and just blow it all out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a cloth and wipe it out. Now the bike is, you can also use brake and clutch fluid and spray all that in there. That will squirt it all out as well. But in this case, the bike is on its side stand, so it's leaning over to the left, and any residue of that, although it does evaporate quite quickly, is going to stay inside there. So I'm not going to do that at the moment. I'm going to just clean it out with a rag. Okay, so this is the clutch drum here. This is the basket, and I'm just cleaning out this bit here. Now all I've got is a small screwdriver here at the moment. What I could do is get my clutch holding tool, put it on here, remove that bolt, take the drum off, and then behind the drum are 8 bolts that hold on the basket. I could get the basket out as well, and then I could give that a good clean out inside there as well, and also check the condition of the oil seal behind it. I'm not going to do that today because the 8 bolts that hold this on are use once only bolts. So if I take those 8 bolts out to remove this basket in order I can clean out the whole of this chamber here, I haven't got the replacement bolts to hand at the moment to put them in there again. You shouldn't reuse those bolts. You should only use them once. But for today, I'm just going to check out, clean off most of the crap. I'm going to check the condition of these discs that are here and the thickness of them, and then reassemble it and just check that everything's okay. So I'm just scraping around here with a screwdriver. Lots of gunge coming out, as you can see. It's in fact, well, let me waste a t-shirt on that. Okay, see muck there. All of that muck is just friction material that over the miles has come off the friction pads. By rights, I should really take the whole lot out, as I said, but I don't have those 8 replacement bolts, and you definitely should not reuse them. Okay, so let's just pause that there for a minute. I need to go and get my calipers.